and of course to the newly inducted officials of the KBP, led by Lay Maraunay, and to the members of the KBP, may gabi sa tahan, other guests as well. The first thing I did when I came in was to inquire. I remember ang KBP was established during martial law, and I inquired and ginugol, and it was in April of 1973 when the KBP was organized. Why was it organized in April of kapisanan ng mga broadcasters ng Pilipinas? As you all know, in September of 72, Marcos declared martial law, closed both houses of Congress, imprisoned political opposition, and closed many of the radio stations. And even the schools for about 3 weeks to 4 weeks. Because I was then a student in San Beda. The schools were closed to ensure that there will be no demonstration. And so they needed media, both print and broadcast, to trumpet the objectives of martial law, bagong lipunan, etc. And I remember then Secretary Kit Tatag, who became senator. And anyway, the KBP was formed in order to provide for a justifiable reason na merong organization that would police its ranks. But certainly, the intention was not really as noble as it was announced then. But then the KBP survived. And martial law had passed with the EDSA revolution, and KBP continued to function. But over time, KBP had somehow evolved from its beginning as a ploy to make it appear that there was a group that would police the organization, the broadcasters. Nag-evolve siya to become a legitimate organization of broadcasters. And so it's a tribute to the resiliency, of the broadcasters and the leaders of the broadcast industry. Especially after the departure of Marcos in 1986. And now, KBP is much stronger and a lot more credible. So, from its intended purpose, karon it has really achieved the objectives that the KBP was ostensibly organized. Ako din i-mention kay importante kayo sa especially sa atong mga freedoms and rights. No? We enjoy these freedoms and rights because sacred kini. In fact, I remember my professor in constitutional law, the late Justice Isagami Cruz. ingon siya na, kaya ka ng Bill of Rights, we have to memorize that. First year kami. We have to memorize that. Every line, every word, and all of the Bill of Rights, all of the enumerations in the Bill of Rights. So, iyak ka ng, ano. And actually, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution did not enumerate. Rather than enumerating the rights of the citizens, actually, the Bill of Rights contains the limitations of government. Importante ka na kayo. Instead of recognizing or vesting these rights on the people, the real objective of the Bill of Rights is to provide for the limitations of government to ensure na dili masuppress ang Bill of Rights. That's why the Bill of Rights always talks of except as provided by law. Kay to emphasize nga kini nga mga katungod must be respected. And so the reason of the Bill of Rights is diha ang base for the limitation of government. So it's a bill not of rights, but rather a bill of limitations against the government to make sure that these rights are enjoyed to the fullest, except when public policy and so on would justify otherwise. So, importante kayo ang enjoyment of these rights. And remember, mga lessons sa mga ito, freedom of expression, mo kini usa sa mga freedoms na importante kayo. Doon na patuloy ko, the freedom to speak includes the freedom not to speak. So it is not only your right to speak up, but it is also your right not to speak up. And the freedom to listen includes the freedom not to listen. Kanindot kayo mga linya, no? And so, kalit sa Diyos, I was told na ang Cagayan de Oro KBP, consistent winner sa entire KBP organization for 3 consecutive years. So, congratulations, Ray, sa inyong mga kauban for maintaining the credibility. Kay mo man na ang importante kayo, wherever we are, whatever we do, importante kayo is ang credibility. And kanang mga recognitions are meant to reinforce, to reaffirm the credibility that is being enjoyed or accorded to either an organization or what. Kung keep it up, and of course, dili malikayan ay mga transgressions, but of course, nakasabot ako as a public official, that's part of the territory. Nakasabot ako niya, no? And I guess one of the virtues that I have learned in public service is to be patient. Pailog lang. And patience indeed is a virtue. Rather than react negatively, I remember there was this line in one famous line that I came across: the balm of a clear conscience is the one that removes the pain, no, from kanang mga inappropriate and cruel comments. Labi na nga naanay mga trolls. So, doon na sa election 2022. So, grabe na sa ning another round of trolls, no? And now, even in the US, sa Facebook, etc., people are already talking about what should be the limits. Kay di man ingon nga tungod kay naa kay freedom, then you can abuse that freedom. All of these freedoms have their limitations. All of them. The freedom is not a license to ruin, especially if the intention is inappropriate or already below the belt. No? So, mao ka na nga diya mo sa troll kay tago and there is difficulty in tracing kung kinsa ang asa ng origin. Unang grabe nga abusa. Grabe nga abusa. But then, there was a lesson also sa mga trolls. No? And we've seen that no matter how massive these trolls are, siguro sa national level, ang trolls can work because the people are not very familiar with the candidates. No? So ang troll could somehow cause some stain sa acceptability sa some people who may not be that familiar. Pero sa local level, ako i-share ko lang sa inyo, grabe nga trolls na kuan. I was asked, people suggested that I should respond to those trolls. No? Pero sa ako una-una, I felt ano ko ng oras itubag ko ang mga trolls, so I let them pass. Pero little did I realize na as these trolls became more cruel, more harmful, people, including those I do not even know, would respond to these trolls. Sila na mismo makig-away. Sila na mismo makig-away, no? And lahi nga experience ka na when you are subjected to trolls and you know that there are people who respond immediately to those trolls. But I hope, and precisely mo na ang kuan, no? I guess that's one lesson probably that I'd like to share with you tonight. Kay, amin ninyo, if these trolls become effective, if these trolls become the norm, I don't know where the broadcasters will go. I don't know. Kay, people will resort to trolls. Kay ay, effective kini trolls, oh. Bukasto na lang ta. Naabe mga tao na maayo mo compose o kuan. Not just stories, but even kanang mga photo, kung sa kanang Photoshop. People would appear very odd and abnormal with these photos ang ilang kitanaw. So, anugon ang kwan ba? Ang integrity of media. Anugon with all of this. No? So, I hope na kwan po ma-address po ni sa mga broadcasters because you're the ones that the people listen to. You're the ones that the people are familiar with. And certainly, as they listen to you, they also form their own opinions of you. Mayo na siya, ka na siya, etc., etc., etc. And over time, that reputation will benefit you or will do harm to you. In the end, kamo ra gyud gyapon ang mabulahan or conversely, kamo ra gyud gyapon ang biktima. No? So it is pat ra gyud gyapon binuhatan ra gyapon nato. So I hope na paano ang kanabang the integrity will be enhanced with the passing of time. kay, siyempre, all of these LGU, cities, provinces, etc. No, di malikayan, people compare notes. People compare notes, and especially there are some people who make observations, and they can form their own observations on the basis of what they hear, on the basis of what they see. No, kita sa Dakbayan, panikamot yun nga, as what Romy had said, to build our respectability. Taliwala sa grabe nga mga pag lisod-lisod na ningkamot kita. And then, kaluwi sa Diyos, mga awards na atong nadawatan, lugar unprecedented kini. And we are now, akong sige sulti sa mga empleyado sa City Hall is, let's make winning, being recognized as a habit. Let's make achieving excellence as a habit, no? In whatever we do, let's give our best. Kay ang beneficyo niya na ang dakbayan o ang katawan mo yun. As our credibility improves, as our respectability improves, more and more investors will come in. And as more investors will come in, there will be more jobs, and there will be an enhancement sa atong purchasing power and so on. Ang ekonomiya will also improve. No? Ang ekonomiya will also improve. Kini panalitan ang competitiveness. No? Over the last 6 years, namugna kining competitiveness. Why did the government and the private sector, kay kuan man kining sa business club and the government DTI, they have embarked on this where LGUs are being ranked on the basis of certain pillars or certain standards. And these are economic dynamism, infrastructure, and government efficiency. And then beginning last year, gidugang ang resilience. So these are the standards against which the LGUs, 4 categories, mga munisipyo first to third class, and then munisipyo 4th to 6th class, and then mga component cities, and then highly urbanized cities. So all of these LGUs are being ranked on the basis of their respective performances in those pillars or standards. Dili tiyaw, infrastructure, economic dynamism, resilience, and ease of doing business or government efficiency. Dili biya sayon as a highly urbanized city, we are competing with all of the highly urbanized cities in the country. And where are these highly urbanized cities? To us, Metro Manila, most of them. Halos tanan nga LGUs in Metro Manila are highly urbanized cities. Now, siyempre, ang ilang infrastructure, dinagko na. Ang ilang economic dynamism is very, very vibrant and robust. Kita dinig, istorya ta road opening sa bukid, sila dito, skyway na ilang istoryahan, new airport, etc., etc. Pero kalay sa Diyos, ang Cagayan de Oro, in spite of the huge advantages of the Metro Manila cities in the 2 areas, ang economic dynamism and infrastructure, kalay sa Ginoo, ang Cagayan de Oro consistently has been in the top 10 among all the highly urbanized cities for 6 consecutive years. Kalay sa Diyos, naatas top 10, consistent. Now, in fact, the pressure now is how can we sustain it in the coming years? Because we would like, grabe ba dito sa Metro Manila. Now, ang consistent sa dito, Manila, Quezon City, Makati, Pasig, Paranaque, etc. No? Pero imagine, katong last competitiveness index, sa top 10, unom ra sa Metro Manila nakasulod. Why? Because ang upat gawas sa Metro Manila. Duha sa Visayas, namely Iloilo, number 9, and Bacolod, number 10. And then duha pod sa Mindanao. So katong unom sa Metro Manila, where Quezon City, Manila, Makati, Pasig, Pasay, and Parañaque. Sila ra. All the rest, nabintaan. Kaya wala man sila sa top 10. Sa Mindanao, na nakasulod nga duha. Cagayan, Davao City, and Cagayan de Oro City. Kalay sa Diyos. No? Maayo kayo ng performance. No? And then, karon I just received a report sa Gawad Kalasag Awards. Dito karon dito sila Dr. Neri o si Councilor Malugaani. Recipient ang J.R. Borja as the finalist in the local government unit hospital sa Gawad Kalasag category. Dako ni nga function karon sa PICC. As I speak, naghatag og awards dito. Finalista. Now, I hope na we are one of 3 finalists, no? So I hope na we'll make it at least number 3 na ta. So ang panja is I hope na we'll be number 2 or better still, number 1. Pero it has not been easy. Dili sa yun. Okay, we are competing with all the others all over the country. So, kanalang sa child-friendly, dili sa'yo. Daghan ng mga rights of children that have to be strictly followed based on the UN standards. Kini upat ka mga fundamental rights of children. The right of survival, the right of protection, development, and then the right of protection and the right of participation. So each of these rights na ay mga, again, mga yardsticks, standards that have to be followed. Ug daghan pa ba? So, kalay sa Diyos, maayong lakaw sa dakbayan. And the challenge now is how do we sustain this? Na dili lang good for 6 years or 9, na masustain na to. Masustain na to. Because Cagayan de Oro has this duty, and I maintain na we have the duty of leadership. Kay as Cagayan de Oro does well, the region benefits from that. And as the region benefits from that, Cagayan de Oro also benefits. So naay kanang reciprocal relationship between Cagayan de Oro and the rest of the region. Medically, the term could be a symbiotic relationship between Cagayan de Oro on one hand and the rest of the region. Okay, ang atong journey is how do we make life better for everyone? As much as possible for everyone. Dili lang para sa ato din, but to everyone. Para sa larger community. So, hopefully, as the region grows, the region will become example for the other regions as well. Caraga and Zamboanga Peninsula. Kaloy sa Diyos, ang Davao is doing well. Of the 6 regions of Mindanao, Mayong Lakaw, Davao, Northern Mindanao, Soksajet. And Caraga and Zamboanga Peninsula are not far behind. Remember, ang mga probinsya sa Caraga used to be among the poorest provinces in the country 30 years ago. Karon, isa ka na. One na lang is ang barn. We hope the peace initiatives of the government will bear fruit. Imagine how progressive Cagayan de Oro and the region would be kung ma-resolve ka ng problema sa extremism. Imagine the contribution of the 2 Lanao provinces. Lanao del Sur is no longer part of Northern Mindanao, but that did not make Lanao del Sur separate from, or that did not make Lanao del Sur farther from us. Lanao del Sur still is what it was from the very beginning. And Lanao del Sur used to be part of the old province of Pisabis. Less than 2 hours from Cagayan de Oro. So dako kayo ang tabang niya na as Lanao del Sur benefits, Lanao del Norte also grows, ang magbeneficyo niya na ang entire Region 10. And of course, as the region grows, the one that benefits the most is Cagayan de Oro. Kaya din naman ang convergence point. Mao nga naasa tay reciprocal duty. The duty to lead in terms of providing the fundamentals that are needed for everybody to succeed. And maring Ginoo, as we succeed, so we prosper together. And hopefully, we can, during our lifetime, witness Mindanao achieving its promise of fulfillment and growth and prosperity. No longer a land of promise, but a land of fulfillment and a land of sustainable and lasting growth and prosperity. Who will benefit? Ang atong mga anak, ang atong mga sumusunod. So I'd like to congratulate the newly inducted officers of KBP. I regret that I cannot stay long kay napitaghan ng mga engagements that I have to meet. So, napoy itabang-tabang kay mura kulang lang kami, no? Tabang-tabang lang. Birthday, Christmas gift para sa inyo. Merry Christmas sa inyo tanan. Tigal na po manong Lakos Maricel. Gi-out na si Maricel KBP. Ito, salamat kayo. Salamat. It's an honor to be with you tonight. Salamat.